Are you a successful woman entrepreneur or professional that has the worst luck when it comes to relationships, or maybe you're afraid to put yourself out there? I'm here to tell you there's a formula for doing it. There's a formula for attracting love into your life, and it's all about owning your power. So get ready for the next episode of La Dolce Vita, the formula for fabulous living. Go girl power.
Frankie Lee, dimmi, quale senso della vita?
The meaning of life is to live la dolce vita, which is the formula for fabulous living.
Hi, my name is Heather Picken, and welcome to the La Dolce Vita Show, the formula for fabulous living. I'm the catalyst in helping you to be more confident, create your dream business, and attract elite clients and live a fabulous life. Here's Heather helping you to upgrade your life to
Fabulous. Upgrade your life to fabulous. Right, Frankie? You're fabulous.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of La Dolce Vita, the formula for fabulous living. Yes, that's probably like one of the most favorite things I like to say with the show, because I like to pretend that I am Italian. Yes, I used to live in Italy years ago, and I'm so excited to share my topic today with my expert, Jaki Say-Brin, who's going to share her formula for attracting and really owning your power and attracting the right relationship. That's really key. So Jaki, thank you so much for being my guest.
Thank you so much, Heather, for inviting me. I love watching your show. I just love your enthusiasm and all of your expertise. And so it's really an honor to be here.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much. And before we dive into today's topic, because this is so important, if you're a woman entrepreneur and if you haven't had luck in love, if you've been really stuck, stagnant, and just kind of second guessing yourself, or maybe you're a female professional, Jaki is so powerful. And I was wondering if you could share with our listeners a little bit what you do and how you help women.
Absolutely. So I am a love and dating expert, and I really call myself a heart-centered love and dating coach. And I help women get engaged at any age. And so what that looks like is women from all walks of life really want to find love, and no matter what the age is. And I really empower them to do just that. And a lot of it really focuses around working on themselves. And so I help them re-empower themselves to believe in themselves and to really help bolster that belief that they really can find love at any age. And so it's really, really exciting work. It's very fulfilling. And I have women that are in their 70s that are going online, that are dating, that are just discovering their own personal power, their formula. And it's just so fabulous to watch.
I love that. I love this topic. I wish we could talk about this all day because it's so important. And before we dive into this, I want to let everyone know, if you're listening to this on iTunes and you want to see what we're wearing, we're actually matchy. Go over to heatherpicken.com, jump on the blog, and you'll find all the past episodes. You'll see the lovely Jaki and myself, and it's always kind of fun to kind of connect with people that way. But, this topic is so important because there is a formula for success. And I always like to share my heartbreak stories because I have been in the most horrific relationships, but it's great experience because it's taught me. I always say that the biggest lessons in my life have come from the form of relationships and men to really own my power and own my greatness. And I know you help, Jaki, you help women to do that. So let's talk about, why successful women are not able to really attract, the right relationship, not attracting those guys that, are there and then they disappear. Right. So what, if you could give us, actually, I always like to start with the mistakes. So what are some of the mistakes that successful women are doing to, really attract the wrong relationships or no relationships?
Well, I think the biggest thing that I see is a self-esteem issue. It's a esteem, and it's self-esteem, self-sabotage. So when we have low self-worth, so self-worth is a thing, and it's a perception, really. So if your perception of yourself is not at a certain level, you won't be able to create, because you don't believe that you're deserving whatever it is you want in life, whether it is in business, it doesn't matter. It's all a reflection of how you feel about yourself. And so women come in and they've experienced a certain amount of loss and upset in their life, relationships, and they've had success in business or other areas of their life, but they haven't really been intimate with what has caused these breakdowns. And so they really have to start to begin to examine what's going on with them, and it requires a certain amount of emotional courage to do that. Not everybody's really willing to look within, because we're all trained from the very moment we're born to look with externally for our approval. Our parents tell us when we're doing good, we get rewarded. When we don't do good, we don't get rewarded. So we always want to look outside of ourselves for external approval. And that can only take us so far. At some point, we really have to recognize that the real approval has to come from within. And so when we start to go within, we discover those riches and how amazing we really are. We really discover our self-worth. And from that place, we can take that information and really bolster our belief system and then create the relationship we want. So to answer your question, it's really the same for most women, and maybe everybody in every walk of life is how deserving am I? That's a question you ask yourself. How good can I stand it? You know?
I love that, and part of the work in helping primarily women entrepreneurs, I help them to break through those beliefs so that they can charge what they're worth, make an impact in the world. And I find that, your work is so important because, yes, it is all about valuing yourself, owning your power. And I know before we started this conversation, you were talking about, being authentic, because I find, like if there's so many dating sites out there, and, a lot of times men will judge women on their pictures and that sort of thing. So do you find that women are not putting out their true authentic self, and therefore they're attracting the wrong kinds of men?
Absolutely, because what they aren't in touch with their true authentic self, because they're looking for external approval. They haven't really come to full acceptance of themselves. And that's really what authenticity is, and being able to be genuine is you having gone through that process of becoming very intimate with yourself, coming to terms with the losses you've experienced, and really making now the main focus of your attention. Because when you're not making the now the main focus of your attention, your energy is either being sourced in the past from past relationships, which can contaminate the moment, or worrying about the future, which isn't promised, and it takes us out of our power. So the only way to really power up is to make the now the main focus. But if we're thinking about past relationships or what we don't have, we're actually planting seeds today for what's going to happen tomorrow. We're creating experiences through our thoughts. And so really the formula begins with being present in the now, and being okay with where you are. Make that your starting point, not what happened to you in the past. Letting go of the past, because the past doesn't exist, and just focusing on the now. And the way I do that is using your body as an anchor. Your body's here right now. You're right here, I'm here. As long as I'm in my body and I'm aware of my body and how I feel, then I'm present. So using your body and your feelings as your guidance system. If you feel good, you're sourcing your energy from love. If you feel bad, you're probably sourcing your energy from your fear-based thinking. So simple guidance system, using your body.
It is. I love that, and it comes to mind like when I'm in a great, amazing relationship. But before, what I found when I was going on dates, I was not present. I kept going into like each date and, oh, is this person the one? And not really, just dating for dating purposes to kind of feel, the person out. And you find like a lot of women do that. They have these high expectations of each date they go on with, a new guy, like this has to be the one.
Yeah. No, that happens a lot. And it starts with, I'm so glad you brought that up, because when you do go on a date, what happens is we don't really even know how to listen. When we're listening, we're actually forming our response to the question. So we're thinking about what we're going to say, which even takes us out of the moment. And the man across from you, or if people can sense that you are not really fully present, And then they sense that you're not genuine. And you might say, oh, we had such a good time. It was so wonderful. I felt a strong connection, but he didn't call me back. I'm like, because you weren't there. You were thinking about what you're going to say. It was too calculated. You weren't really bringing it, like this interview, like this discussion. We're both present. I don't have a pre-planned thing that I'm going to say to you. I'm just speaking from my heart, being present to what's coming up. That's genuine. That's authentic. And that's what everybody wants, not only from, in relationships, but everywhere. But men particularly really are longing for and yearning for a woman that they can be accepted by, not judged by. And so it's up to us as women to really create this juicy, yummy space for a man, for him to feel safe enough to lower his defenses and open his heart to you. As soon as you do that, then you'll have him forever. And so the way you do that is by making the now the main focus and practicing really listening, using that skill of listening instead of waiting for your turn to talk. Really listen to what that other person is saying and really show up in a bigger, better way for them.
I love what you're saying, Jackie. And what about, there's a lot of women out there, let's just say, they're over 30 or over 40 or even over 50. And, your whole thing is, hey, you can get engaged at any age. That all sounds great. But what if, you have a track record where you've been married once or twice, you've been divorced, and you're carrying all that emotional baggage and your beliefs that there are no good men out there, that your relationship, even if you were to get into a relationship now, it's going to turn out exactly, how it was before. So what would you say to women that are really, they're hiding out, they're not really putting themselves out there? In their mind, they would like to be in a relationship, but they really don't think it's possible.
Well, the common denominator in all of these women and all the relationships is me. So I would be the common denominator. And it's really getting very real with yourself, especially when you say you want something, but you're really not. People say, I want things to change, but they don't want to change. And so it does require, I'm not implying that you're doing anything wrong or there's anything wrong with anybody. But there has to be changes made in order to have a different experience. And so it's really, really diving in and becoming, again, very intimate with what's going on inside and really clearing up the things from your past so that you don't project those into your future. So the work, it is work. I mean, I call it like self-mastery. You have to be the best version of yourself. And so that's spelled W-O-R-K. You have to do some work. You have to break an emotional sweat. Once you train yourself to get more intimate with yourself, what you're going to discover is how amazing you really are. You're going to discover that your mind has created all these limiting beliefs about yourself that absolutely aren't true. And once you break that ceiling or cross that barrier, the whole world opens up to you because now you recognize that it was just your mind trying to keep you safe, but in an attempt to keep you safe, it's really keeping the love that you want out. So as you lower your defenses and clear up these past relationship wounds, you're free to open your heart and you'll discover that, we are love. You'll discover how amazing you really are. And that connects here and it connects with men. It connects everywhere in business. I mean, there's no stopping you at that point.
I absolutely love what you're saying. You're saying that this whole getting, your right relationship or attracting the right relationship is really about the deep inner work. And if you're willing to do that, you can attract the right mate. And I have to share a quick story. So with my dating disasters or whatever you want to call it, to me, it's an experience. I remember I was dating this guy. I found him on Match. And we dated, maybe like a month or so. And I found out that he was married. And I was just beside myself. I felt very vulnerable when I found that out. And what happened, so here I'm in this vulnerable situation. Then this other guy comes in, which honestly was not a good match for me. But because I was feeling vulnerable, I ended up being in a long-term relationship. And I remember at that time thinking, why am I attracting this kind of person? And it really came down to, I didn't really value myself enough. I didn't really think that I could get everything that I wanted. I had to be with this person. And it was such a valuable lesson to really know who I was and who I am as a person. And then fast forward today, I am in an amazing relationship because I got really clear. I did that inner work. I think that's so much, more important than like putting yourself on a dating site first. Like you got to do the inner work first. Would you agree? Like, how would you handle that if someone has also a track record, they get on these dating sites and then one person after the next, they're just feeling misaligned?
Well, the great thing about the dating is that instead of setting an intention initially, what I recommend, because so if say you want a relationship, you want a man, you set your intention initially that you want that, but first you need to work on your skills. And so you can use the dating platform as a wonderful opportunity as a reflection of how you're doing. So you set your intention to go on several successful dates. And as you start dating, you'll start to notice things that you're doing. So instead of focusing on these men, focus on what you're doing. Are you listening? Are you interrupting? Are you judging? You have to see how present you are. And as you begin to clear this up in your own behavior, the dates start to change. The type of men you attract are more emotionally available because you now are more emotionally available. And that gets really exciting. And once you turn the corner on that, you actually change your vibration of how what you can attract. And so you'll start attracting the right men. And then you can check in with your intention and then shift that intention to, now I want to call in my soulmate. But initially, I think that it's really important to just take all the pressure off, have fun, go out and learn about yourself through these wonderful men. There's so many men out there that want to take you out to dinner so that you can practice your dating skills. And that takes the pressure off the men. It takes the pressure off you, because then you really can show up and be genuinely curious about another human being. When you can bring that to a date, show that genuine curiosity, that's really going to connect with your date, because you're not looking for anything. You're not asking him to rescue you. You're really just showing up. And in that moment, you can really shift how you're showing up. And the more you do that, the better quality of men that you will draw in, because you're shifting, you're raising your vibration to reflect something bigger and better for yourself.
I love what you're saying. And I have to kind of give you like a little testimonial. I followed your coaching and it absolutely worked, because I remember I was so beside myself. Something happened with someone else I was dating before I met my now boyfriend. And it just shook me up. I'm like, oh my gosh, I thought we were getting along great. And all of a sudden, he says that he can't go out with me because I don't like football. It was just so crazy. And I got in my head and I made it more about getting really clear on what I wanted and having fun. I think that's the element that's missing for women. They get in this kind of desperation mode, which again, if you're in the desperation energy, you attract the same. And so what I did is I made it like fun. I made it a game, and that was a game changer for me. So I thank you for that.
You're so welcome. And I just want to just thank you for saying that, Heather. I'm so happy for you, because I know you're just so happy right now in your life. And I'm very happy too, because I walk my walk. I met my husband on Match. We've been together for 5 years and married. We're going on our 3rd year of being married. And so I really did apply all of these principles in my own life before I was able to really connect with my husband, because I was making all those mistakes too. And it wasn't until I really asked myself, what is the problem? What's going on here? And I realized that I was saying, all these men aren't emotionally available, but I looked at myself. I was the one who wasn't emotionally available. I was the one. And once I had that realization, it really shocked me. I was stunned to recognize that it was me that was the one. I was thinking it was the men. I was still looking outside of myself, blaming. Once I took responsibility for the experience I was having, things shifted very quickly. I quickly got into alignment, did the work that I needed to do, and started attracting better men. Each man that I went out with was higher quality. And then I met my husband. Literally, it came through so quick. And now we're happily married. So it absolutely works. You definitely have to work it.
I love that. And the fact that you said that you made the mistakes, because that's how you learn. Like anything that you master in life, whether it be business or relationships, like that's part of the formula. Part of the formula is, failing or filling up, going, wow, okay, this is a result that I got. Now here's what I could do better. I find a lot of women, they will beat themselves up if, the date didn't go 100%, or if the guy wasn't right, or whatever happened. I mean, did you find that to be true?
Absolutely. And they get stuck on that. So you have to use detached involvement when you're dating. You have to detach from any end result. And so when you detach from outcomes, that frees you up to enjoy the journey. But when you're so attached to an outcome, what happens is you suffer such severe disappointment that it really affects your demeanor, your mood. And when you look on the mood scale, when your mood's off, you're now unhappy, you're not creating anything. And so to make sure that you maintain a really positive mood, you need to detach from outcomes. So don't start writing your name and his, with his last name. Don't doodle it. Don't plan the wedding before you even get on the date. Just detach from an outcome. Go there with the intention of having a good time and getting to know another human being. Whatever the outcome is, you will be happy because you will learn something more about yourself, which is what the purpose is. And then so you have to do detached dating. That's more deliberate. You're more deliberately dating. You're using detached involvement. You're bringing your presence. You don't have any expectation of an outcome. And then that's when things get really interesting in life. And that, it's just stepping into the unknown. And women, what I want to say to women is we need to take more risks. All that you want is out there on the limb of life. You've got to crawl out there and get it. The bigger the risk, the bigger the gain. And I think what happens as we get older, we start to retract. We've been hurt and our heart closes down and we don't want to take any more risks, but we're living longer. Women are coming out and going online at 70s and there's no end to this. We want love in our life. That's one thing that I know we will always want is to have love in our life. And so take bigger risks and experience your life. That's what it's all about, experiencing life.
I love that. And it also speaks to, when I'm coaching female entrepreneurs, I'm like, listen, you've got to take a risk. You've got to invest in yourself if you want to make a global impact with your work. So I love how this kind of all fits into this juicy conversation. Now, another thing I want to talk about really quick is, let's just say you're going out with someone, it's been maybe a month or so, and this is really great. I also find that women, and I found myself doing this, in the past, is that, they'll start nitpicking on what they don't like about the guy, to say, oh, well, maybe I should, write them off. So do you feel that like women can be a little bit harsh when they don't really necessarily need to be?
Absolutely. I think that is maybe second of the biggest mistakes that women make, not being present, but being too picky. So our mind has rigid thinking. Our mind lacks flexibility. You ask for something, you can't predict what's going to turn up. You don't know how that's going to be delivered. You don't know what he's going to look like. But if you have it set in your mind that he has to look like this, you really rob yourself of what is possible. And so being too picky is a way of it's self-protection. As long as you're too picky, the choices are so narrow that nobody's ever going to live up to that. So that's kind of a perfectionism. There's no perfect man. There's no perfect woman. We're all imperfectly perfect. So it comes down to, I always say, just pick the top 3 things that are the most important to you and be really relaxed about how the rest shows up. So for me, it was loyalty. And it's all based on our history, right? For me, because of my history, I needed a man that was very loyal. And the second thing was I needed somebody who was very active. And the other thing was that someone that had a great personality in terms of wit. And I want to have fun in my life. I want somebody who has a great wit and has a sense of humor and looks at the lighter side of life, because that's the way I am. And so how it was going to show up, I didn't know, but that's what I got in my husband. And he over-delivered, but he's a silver fox. I didn't see myself married to a silver fox at all. I didn't expect that. In fact, I remember saying to my friend, I don't know if I could go out with him because it's his hair. And she said, oh, you have to, see, there it was. I was not going to go out with him because he had this beautiful head of silver hair, but it just wasn't in my vision. And then when I met him, he blew me away. So I just allowed myself to have that experience, and he's incredible. Very powerful man, and has everything on my list and over-delivered, like I said. But I'm so glad that I released that attachment.
Yes.
Because that could have really sabotaged me. So yes, we're too picky, and especially in terms of appearances. We have to look beyond that at beliefs and core values and lifestyle. Those are things that are really important. I think at the end of the day, we want to make sure we're compatible with somebody. We like the same things. We want to do the same things, because at the end of the day, that's what you're going to be doing.
Yes.
Is the things you love.
I love that. And I could not agree with you more. I know, at least for myself, one of the most important things is that person that I was going to be with is an entrepreneur, because I cannot shut off my entrepreneur brain. I want to talk about it all the time. And that's one of the many things that I love about my relationship. And it's like you can basically design exactly what you want according to what's most important to you. And I so appreciate this conversation, Jaki. And if you follow Jaki on Facebook, you'll find, these beautiful pictures of her and her husband on trips. I know you like skiing. I don't like skiing. I like to be in the lodge, but it looks like such a happy couple, and you're doing, such important work in the world. And I will tell all the women out there, if you're in a bad relationship, it will drain your business and your bank account. I've been there, done there, not going to go there. If you're in an amazing supportive relationship, your business will skyrocket. You will feel a sense of purpose and feel fulfilled in your life. So, Jaki, the work that you're doing is really making an impact in the world to be engaged at any age. And before we go today, I know you've got a free gift. So can you share what that is and where they can go?
Absolutely. And thank you again, Heather, for having me on your lovely show. I'm just loving this. So I created a soulmate assessment. And so it's just a quick little quiz that you can take, answer the questions, and it's going to give you your assessment of where you are, and then a feminine exercise that'll support you to shift your vibrational frequency into more in an alignment so you can attract and call in your soulmate. So I'll give you that link, and you can just click on that and access that free soulmate assessment.
I love that. Yeah. So if you're listening to this in iTunes, it's going to be in the show notes, and on the blog, you'll see that as well. And once again, Jaki, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, your expertise, and your love in helping women to be engaged at any age.
You're so welcome. It's a pleasure to be here. Bye, everybody. Lots of love.
Bye-bye. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. So if you found this show to be fabulous, please share with your fabulous friends, rate, review, and subscribe on YouTube and iTunes. And I'll make sure I take a beatbox lesson, right? Or give my little chihuahua a bone. That's me. Fabulous.